I want. I have the patience in my soul, 'cause I know that it's worth it.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Princeton Clark here, and you're tuning into another video on the Mastery series, and today is going to be a powerful episode. If you feel like you are called to do something amazing, you feel like you're called to bring great change to the world, you know that you are here to do something so much to the degree that it prompts you at a soul level, at a sacral level, that every day you wake up, you feel this calling. Even if you try to go back to where you used to be, the problems in the world, the issues in humanity, and what's happening just speak to you at a deeper level, and you feel it at a deep level that makes you feel prompted to do something, to say something. You feel as though you've been called to bring great change in some way. If that's you, then you don't want to miss this video. So I hope you stay tuned through the entire thing. And if this is the first time you're tuning in, go back and watch the other two videos. Like I said, I'm committing to 21 days of this process of sharing this wisdom in the Mastery series. And, when I post this stuff, I need people to understand something. I had someone message me earlier and they said, Princeton, I feel like in the way that you approach how you communicate, sometimes you could come off a little more soft in your approach. And my response to them is, my message is not for everybody. It's not for anyone. It's for those who know that they have been called for evolutionary change in the world. It's those who wake up every single day and they feel this burning within their soul to do something, to be something more, to create change that doesn't just impact this lifetime, but it impacts a legacy of lifetimes. That's who I speak to. See, because if you don't have that and you don't feel that calling, you don't know or believe that you've been called to flow in that level of power or greatness or leadership in your life, then my message isn't going to resonate with you. I wanted to kick off today's episode talking about conscious evolutionary leadership, and I wanted to read something to you guys on what a conscious evolutionary leader is before we jump into this. So I'm going to go ahead and read that really quick. And so what it says is, a conscious evolutionary leader is someone who leads with deep awareness, intentionality, and a commitment to growth, not just for themselves, but for those they serve and the greater good of humanity. This type of leader is driven by purpose, values, and vision for creating a better world, recognizing that true leadership involves guiding others towards their own highest potential. They embody empathy, authenticity, and integrity, and their leadership is rooted in deep connection to their inner wisdom, as well as an understanding of the interconnectedness of all life. Conscious evolutionary leaders are constantly evolving, fostering environments where transformation and innovation can thrive, and empowering others to step into their own personal mastery. Their influence extends beyond typical leadership goals, aiming to elevate consciousness on a collective level by creating positive change that benefits society, the planet, and future generations. As a conscious evolutionary leader who teaches people how to operate in mastery, who calls those other leaders forward to lead those that they have been called to lead in the changes through the gifts that they've been given in the world to bring about such change, I do not speak to everyone. It's like someone who goes into the military, and this is just an example, so bear with me. When someone signs up for the military because they feel this deep desire to serve their country, they understand that when they go, they are going to be prepared to die or to kill if it comes down to it. They understand that what they're going to have to put their bodies through is going to be preparing them for war. Now, you may have some people that go into the military and they just want to use it for education. They just want to travel the world. They may just want to get out of the situation that they are in, but understand this. Those who understand the call and the responsibility of war and preparing for war, they take it. And it's the hardest thing that they've ever done. But they come out on the other side ready for whatever comes at them. They know that if they are not equipped to fight, the war may be lost. And see, again, that's just an example. But when we look at the world, we see that there is a war being waged against humanity, against creation, against our lifestyle, against the very essence of why we are soulfully here. And see, conscious evolutionary leaders, must go through or grow through a process that breaks down all of the limiting beliefs, that breaks down all of the old habits that constrain most. They must be willing to let go. They must be willing to release attachment. They must be willing to love themselves so deeply that they are willing to step fully into the cause, understanding that love is not an emotion. It is a force that illuminates and brings about change. And in order to walk this path, you must be willing to, as I say, be uncomfortable if you want to be the uncommon. You can't be what everybody else is being and lead everybody out of what they're choosing to stay in. You must be the light guiding the way. And see, the thing about birthing this type of light as a conscious evolutionary leader is that you will experience a lot of darkness. You will experience people walking away from you. You will experience opportunities that you must sacrifice because they don't align with your moral values. They don't align with where your spirit is leading you or the change that you're being called into. And so when we start talking about conscious evolutionary leaders, this is the type of leadership that the world is calling for. A lot of the leadership that we're looking at, the influencers and all that, they're not conscious evolutionary leaders. They lead in whatever way that they lead, and they're only considered leaders because people follow them. But what the world needs is conscious evolutionary leaders. Those who are willing to stand against it all. Those who are willing to be a voice in the darkness. Those who are willing to tap into a level of themselves that no matter what happens, they focus forward. They wake up every single day accepting that call. That's who I speak to. And if you're not one of those people, my message won't resonate with you. But there are some that will listen to this and they will know I've been called for this. And maybe your environment that you've been around hasn't been supportive of you being that. Maybe you're just beginning your journey. Understand this, you're not alone. I had a mentor tell me years ago, he said, Princeton, you may feel alone because you're so early in your journey, but the more you grow, the more you're going to begin to meet or attract or flow into the paths of people who accept the same call. We can look back through history and we can see all the people who accepted this very same call, who led revolutions, who created massive change in systems, in countries and regions, because they stood on it, even if it cost them their life. They understood that this was not the end, it was only the beginning. See, as a conscious evolutionary leader, you are called to lead and usher in something new, something so powerful that it will outlive you. And if you are not willing to accept that call, no matter what you do, you can't escape that call. You will have restless nights. You will spend many nights crying and days wondering when the doors will open. But understand this, until you accept the call and step into it, you're not going to see yourself experiencing the life that you know you've been called to live. And take this from me. I've been taking the journey for years. I've experienced all of it. I've cried myself to sleep some nights because in the beginning, I was trying to get people to see what I saw, but they hadn't accepted or they hadn't been given the call that I had been given, the responsibility of that. See, I wake up every single day. I look at the world. There are some days where I see what's going on. And because of the deep empathy that I have, I'm so emotional, not in a state of being controlled by emotion, but because I'm so attuned to what's happening in the world, I deeply empathize with what's happening in the world. And it only fuels the fire within me to be the change in the world. I don't make excuses. I don't focus on what this person is doing or what that person is not doing. I focus on what can I do? How can I be a light? How can I love more deeply? How can I set myself apart and be the difference? And I do the deep inner work. I let go of, as I said in the other video, what doesn't serve me and what doesn't deserve me. And I focus on what's in the flow for me. I focus on what I am being called into. I let go of anything that does not honor that call. And see, this is a tough path. See, because a lot of you want to hold on to family and even friends and even relationships. You want to hold on to certain conditions that you've been in When the calling comes, it calls you out of all of that because there is something new. There are new relationships. There are new opportunities. There are new experiences that you are meant to make room for. And until you let go of all those things that are not in alignment with that, you will never experience those things. And so most people will stay where they are. Most people will fall back into the old ways, but those who have been called to be conscious evolutionary leaders can't. I don't care. I can't tell you guys how many times I wanted to quit, how many times I wanted to stop because the weight got so heavy. People walked away. People didn't support me. People didn't understand the weight of what I was carrying. And in some cases, I felt like it would just be good to just go back to being a normal person, but everything in me would not allow me to. This is why I always say, when you truly wake up to purpose, when you truly wake up to the call to lead, you can't go back to sleep. You can't unsee what you've been made aware of. The higher your awareness goes, the more alienated you're going to feel because you're going to see beyond what most people see. You're going to see the inner workings of what's creating this disconnect within society. You're going to see what's happening in the different systems, religiously, politically, socially, economically, and you're going to understand at a very deep level, at a root, what you're being called to address, and you can't go back to sleep. You're going to have to learn how to develop a high level of emotional intelligence so that you don't feel reactionary every time you see something that makes your spirit groan, that makes your spirit feel heavy. You're going to have to develop a high level of emotional intelligence so that you can process and release those energies so that you can look at it from a higher state of awareness and communicate and lead through it to be a voice of reason, to be a voice of guidance, to be a voice of truth, inherent truth, not egoic truth, but inherent truth that leads people back to love, back to self-acceptance, back to a higher level of awareness, so on and so forth. As a conscious evolutionary leader, you are here to be a light in the world. And you've known probably for most of your life that you weren't normal. You weren't like most people. Maybe you're just waking up to that fact that you were born for something greater, that you were born to stand for something that will create change in the world. You were born to break the cycles of what your family has endured. You were born to give birth to a legacy that will outlive you, because it's not about you. It's about what's trying to come through you. Those are the people that I talk to, and so if you are watching this video right now and you're still with me and this is speaking to you, know that this calling will not go anywhere. It won't. And until you find a group or a person to mentor or guide you, or you learn the tools to develop in this area, you're always going to feel disconnected. You're always going to feel like something's missing. You're always going to feel like you're within arm's reach, but you can never grasp what you're feeling because you must embody it. In the beginning, you only see part of it. But the more you begin to embody it, the more the whole picture begins to reveal itself to you. Conscious leadership is not something to be taken lightly. If you've been called to be a conscious evolutionary leader, there will come a weight of responsibility. But if you feel that, know that you are capable of carrying it because it would have never been given to you. You're going to have to let go of the idea of self that you have walked under. You're going to have to let go of all the masks that you've been wearing to fit into the different environments that you've subjected yourself to. You're going to have to let go of anything that's not in the flow of what you're being called into so that you can receive the lessons and the blessings to bring a higher level of awareness so that you can operate in a higher level of flow so that you can operate in a legacy that will honor the calling on your life. This message is not popular to common people. Common people don't want to hear this. Common people are still making excuses and staying where they are, or they're just not aware of it. Common people get into their emotions and they find reasons not to evolve. But a conscious evolutionary leader understands that he or she has no other option but to be what they were born to be, no matter what the cost. And this will set you apart in a way that it will change your entire world. But if you can embody the process and the wisdom that comes through the process, when you go out into this world, you will be a light in the world that cannot be ignored. You will be a light in the world that people will see, even if they don't understand it. What makes this person different? Who is this person that they walk in such authority and such power that they command respect when they speak? When they walk into a room, they illuminate the room. When they walk into a space, the difference is clearly seen. Not because they pump out their chest and talk about all the money that they've made and how much success they have, all the surface stuff, but because when they walk in, there's just this aura about them that even though they are powerful, they are some of the most loving, compassionate, and driven people you will ever meet. They do not settle, nor do they force. They simply operate at a level that when they enter into that space, those who they are called to lead recognize the mirroring of themselves in that person. Whenever I go speak and I have people come up afterwards and they say, man, that hit me so hard and it felt like you were just talking to me. I always tell people, do not put me on a pedestal. Do not put me on a pedestal. If that spoke to you in that way, that was simply my soul mirroring to your soul something great that's in you. I'm simply a mirror to those who I have called to guide. I'm a mirror to the world, but to those who I am called to guide, I am an awakening light. I am the force that brings them back into remembrance of what they are, because we're all one. But in that oneness, we all play different roles. I know who I'm here to lead. I'm here to awaken the leaders. I am not here to dabble in normalcy. I am not here to dabble in complacency. I am not here to dabble in all the mediocrity of the world. I am here to set a standard that forces people to wake up because their soul realizes that they were called for more, that they were called to also be a standard, that where they've been does not serve them. See, great inherent truth doesn't feel good when it comes. For those who choose to be in mediocrity and complacency and normalcy, when true inherent wisdom comes, it makes them feel very uncomfortable. But to those who receive that truth, it evolutionizes their life. Do you feel like you've been called to be an evolutionary leader? Do you feel like this purpose speaks to you daily? Have you been feeling this calling, this deep prodding in your soul, but you haven't been able to put a finger on what it is? I remember that feeling when it came to me, and it shifted everything in me. I remember writing and crying and meditating and praying for clarity on what that was, because I didn't have mentors at that time in my life. All I had was this voice that was speaking to me. And honestly, that voice does not yell. It doesn't yell. It's the steady, calm voice that speaks from within. You always hear it. Sometimes it's like this whisper that tells you, you know that you're worth more. You've called or been called into something great. It whispers to you of your power. And sometimes it scares you because you know what you're going to have to let go of in order to operate in it. You are a true conscious evolutionary leader. Trust the process. You were not born to fit in. You were not born to be like everyone else. You weren't born to live in mediocrity, but you're going to have to let go of some things. You're going to have to let go of some people. You're going to have to let go of some circumstances. You're going to have to let go of some subconscious belief systems that you have. You're going to have to let go of these ideas that you've created that have created this persona that you think you are. All of that is going to have to die and be released in order for you to step into the power of which you've been called to be in. These are the people that I coach. These are the people that I got. I'm not here for everyone. I understand that the nature of the work that I do isn't one where there's going to be an overabundance of people that are coming to me. I understand that. But I also understand that those who do come to me come ready. They know what they must do. They come seeking fervently to answer that call within themselves, to peel away the layers that maybe they don't have the eyes to see, to let go of the things that are stopping them from being everything that they've been called to be. This isn't a popular process because of what it requires of a person. And you can dabble in all this stuff. You can dabble in creating your businesses. You can dabble in how much money can I make. You can dabble in buying the house and buying the. I can promise you that if you've been called to be a conscious evolutionary leader, it will not be satisfactory. You still won't feel fulfilled. You won't. You won't feel free. Not to say that you can't manifest those things, but you must manifest those things from center. You must manifest those things from your power. But the only way to become more powerful is to let go of what doesn't serve you, is to let go of those thoughts that are not in alignment with your potential. It's to get connected to people who have taken the journey, who can guide you through it so that you don't have to do it alone. You were not called to simply be or to exist. You were called to impact existence. You will hear people say, it doesn't take all that. Why you got to do all that? You don't even have to address that. I'm telling you, I've heard it all. Get a normal job. Why can't you do what everybody else does? Because I'm not called to. I understand that it's going to require sacrifice. I understand that a lot of people, including family, may not understand it. But I had to be willing to keep walking. I had to keep willing to step, even if it meant I had to shake the dust from my feet to keep going. I had to clear out my space. I didn't have time for negative talk. I didn't have time for negative conversations. If you didn't bring anything, as I say, to elevate me or evolve my life, you couldn't be in my life. And I stood on that unapologetically because I loved and honored myself, and I loved and honored the calling more than people's feelings and emotions or ideas about who they thought I should be. You are not called to appease people. You're called to lead. And to whom much is given, as I say all the time, much is required. But this is also why, again, most people don't accept the calling. But do you feel that? If you're still watching, do you understand the greatness that's in you right now, that's trying to come forth through you right now? What are you willing to let go of? Are you willing to be challenged to such a degree that it cracks you wide open to be the most powerful version of you? When I decided to do these videos, I can be honest, the last couple of days, I wasn't feeling good. But the calling in my heart said, no, you must continue. There's someone that needs to hear this message. And if you don't release what I'm giving you, what I'm bringing through you, they won't get it. I'm telling you guys, I wake up and it's all I think about. Throughout my day, it's all I think about. I get on social media as I'm doing posts and having conversations, and all I see is the disconnect. I see those fighting through the noise who feel that they've been called to help people heal, called to create change in the world. And I see the challenges that they have. I can only imagine how hard it is for them. And this is why I always say I'm so grateful that I didn't have social media when I got started. I had books. I had walks in nature. I journaled. I prayed and meditated. I was quiet a lot. I did a lot of deep introspection. I wasn't trying to be seen because I knew that there was a development that was happening within me. I knew that I was evolving. I accepted the call and I walked with it daily, and I continue to walk with it daily. And as a conscious evolutionary leader, if you are not listening to yourself at a soul level daily, if you're not doing the deep introspection daily, if you're not surrounding yourself, having the right conversations that sharpen you and awaken you more deeply, it's going to be a long, arduous journey. It's going to be challenging for you. This is why early on, when I started meeting people like Dr. Wayne Dyer and I started meeting people like Les Brown, I invested. You know, there were so many people. I've studied philosophies and philosophers. I went back to school and got a bachelor's in biblical studies and Eastern religion. I started studying more deeply what these great teachers and impactful agents of change did differently than what we see today. Tony Robbins, when I started studying under him, one thing he always says is success leaves clues. And I started looking for the clues. What set them apart? How did they walk through their days? What did they focus on? And I started realizing that they all had something in common. They never got caught up in the noise. They were willing to let go of things. They were willing to make sacrifices to fully embody the power of their purpose, to step into the evolution of what they were called to be. There was no vanity in their approach. There was no look at me and what I've done and all the things that I've achieved, like most of your common leaders of today leading common people. Most of what people call leadership today doesn't even scratch the surface of true conscious leadership. Then you see all the quote unquote conscious leaders who are crying on social media, who are lacking in their power, who have become so passive aggressive, who don't own their power, but they have people that follow them because people understand the feeling of that. But what this world needs are the conscious evolutionary leaders, those who can stand and flow and be what they've been called to be, those who can consistently show up, consistently evolve, not making excuses, not pointing a finger, not playing the blame game, not wallowing in the process of the struggle, but who understand I signed up for this. I knew that there was going to be a death when I chose this path. I knew that choosing this conscious journey to evolve was going to be the most challenging thing that I've ever done, because I was letting go of years of programming. I knew that I would be coming into the awareness of duality, and I knew that I would have to process emotionally through that duality and find the synergy of the soul-led purpose and path ahead of me through that duality to really restore myself back into a state of awareness where I recognized oneness in all things. I knew that I would have to let go of attachment, because no matter what, I am a universal being. I am eternal. This body, this lifetime is but for a season, and I've been called for something great in this time. See, we understand what's happening beneath the fabric of what the collective has co-created. We understand what we are called to lead. So if you've been called to be this evolutionary conscious leader, you must fully step into it. And if that's an area where you are struggling, reach out, message me, go to my website. If you are looking for a coach who's going to help you answer the call of your soul, reach out to me. All my links, you can go to PrincetonClark.com. You can also go to my Instagram at Princeton Clark, but I have other resources as well. If you go to PrincetonClark.com and you scroll to the bottom of the homepage, you're going to see some free resources. You can also join my school community where I share different insights. All those links are on my website. Anything that you need to find me anywhere is all on PrincetonClark.com. So just go there, but this call is not for the fickle. It's not for those who want to stay in normalcy, who want to stay stagnant, who don't want to operate in their purpose. It's for those who know that they've been called to bring a light to the world, that they've been called to guide, that they've been called to lead consciously, to evolve not only their life, but to bring about evolution in the world at a conscious level. If that's you, I want you to continue this journey with me. I want you to reach out. I want you to comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Share this video if you know people in your own circle who talk like this, or they've said things like this, or that it'll resonate with them. Share it with them. But you're not alone. You're not alone. Self-mastery is all about surrender. As I always say, it's about surrendering to your power, potential, and purpose. Most people will not take this path. Most people will not. But will you? If you've truly been called to be a conscious evolutionary leader, that calling will never leave you, and you know it. I remember certain points in my journey saying, I wish I could just leave. The responsibility felt so heavy. And I was like, man, I'm just ready to leave this world. It's like nobody wants to get it. Nobody cares. But those were the programs and thoughts that I had to let go of. I was ready to I was just like, just call me home. Let me go. Let me come back into oneness. God, bring me where I'm supposed to be, there, where I can be in that. And my spirit would say, no, you are here. And I'm exposing this to you. I was introduced to a mentor, or a mentor was brought into my life. And he told me, he said, the things that bother you the most are the things that you've been given a gift to fix, address, and bring change in. And then I had to start asking myself, how? I had to start meditating on that. How can I be the change? How can I flow in the power? How can I flow in the purpose that I've been called into? I'm sure many of you, if you're still watching, you're on the same journey. But for the few of you who are ready to accept the call, understand it's not for the faint of heart. But if you feel that calling, you are powerful enough to walk the path. You are. You were born to be. And the moment you start to accept it and step into it is the moment that everything is going to be able to manifest. It's the moment that you're going to start feeling that power. You're going to start feeling it. But all the things, understand this, when you start to accept it, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to be extremely forced to focus on everything that's going to keep you from being in the fullness of it. You're going to be forced to acknowledge the areas of you that you must release, the areas of your life you must release, the circumstantial stuff you must release. All of those things are going to be brought forth. Everything that's been in the dark is going to be brought into the light, and you're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to let go of all the masks. You're going to have to let go of your perspectives that limit your ability or that keep you stuck in the woe is me or in the stage of plateauing or feeling stuck. You're going to have to let that stuff go. And if you're struggling with that and you're looking for someone to guide you through that, reach out to me. Reach out to me, because you were called for a time such as this. And it's time for you to truly master the process. It's time for you to surrender to the process of accepting the call of your potential, to step into that power, to operate in your purpose. I hope you guys that are still with me have a beautiful rest of your day, night, morning, whatever time it is. But again, there's so much that I could say about this, but I got more videos coming. But reach out to me, PrincetonClark.com. All my links are there. Got some free stuff there on my school community. If you go join my school community, you can also gain some free resources there. You'll be able to ask questions. I'm here to support you, and I have enough resources out there that can help you. I have, as I shared in my previous episode in this series, 2 books, and that's my bestseller, Awakening Your Inner Master, The Journey of Self-Mastery, and Warrior of Love, Speaker of Truth, and that's a decade anthology. But both of these books are also available on Amazon. I'll drop the links again here in the description. But if you're feeling the call, it's time to answer the call, because you will never feel peace. You will never feel in alignment with anything else that you do as long as you run from it, because you can't run from what you've been called into. It's going to be with you, and it's going to stay with you, because you were born to do something, to bring light to the world, to bring evolutionary change in your life and into the world in some amazing way. And I believe in you. But stay tuned for more videos. Like, share, comment. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll be talking to you guys soon. Have a great one.